Interesting.
Yeah, Igor's like, Aaron came into my room last night, saw my deck, and is like, okay, I'm going to play that.
Reasonable. So Aaron Tarbell there on your left. An accomplished player, was one of the first players to experiment with Trevenant Break when that came out.
Oh, he put it on the map.
Yeah, he played at the Florida Regionals, I think it was, whatever year that card first came out. It's kind of probably his biggest claim to fame.
And then with Catron, he's actually playing a deck that we haven't really talked about. It's kind of been like one of the joke decks in the format. That's Vikavolt Tapu Bulu GX.
Yeah, this is the deck that you don't really see a whole lot of. It's kind of always present. Like, you know, you go to a League Cup and you'll see 1 or 2 copies. Let's take a look at Aaron's prizes real quick.
Oh, maybe I was wrong. They see the Lycan Rock.
Oh, yeah, it looks like it will not be a...
Decidueye Zoroark. Maybe it's just... All right.
Taking a look. Michael's prizes, Octillery, nothing...
Puzzle Time might come in handy.
Yeah, Puzzle Time. But yeah, as we were saying, Vikavolt Tapu Bulu is not exactly a very common deck, and I think it's a deck that a lot of players love and a lot of players hate. So we will see.
All right, it must have been messed up a little bit. Okay.
Looks like our names are actually switched there. It should be Aaron on the left, but we can get that corrected.
But it does look like Aaron's actually playing Zoroark Lycanroc. Okay. Just one of the, probably the most popular deck I think we've seen here this weekend. My apologies. We don't have the list for him, so.
Yeah, it is one of the, probably the most popular Zoroark variant. I don't actually have the numbers, but just based on what I've been seeing, I think it's the one that most people seem to be playing.
All right, and there's the Wonder Tag for the Bridget. Classic turn 1 play, like we say, and it's especially needed in these Stage 2 decks because you need to get these support Pokemon set up so you can start attacking.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see Michael filling his bench. Gonna have to play a single Puzzle of Time, which is never what you want to see.
Go ahead.
And yeah, he just passes. All right, and there we see an Energy Lotto.
Saw Dustin Zimmerman win the game with this card a little earlier.
Yeah, it's been sneaking into a few decks. Same with Multi-Switch too. It's kind of interesting seeing, because they're really just played in this deck, and it's just interesting to see which one they actually choose.
Yeah, it kind of just comes down to the preference, really. I haven't seen an exact decision from a lot of players.
Aaron's hand, I think, is just worse than Michael's. Yeah, Michael has the Sycamore, draws a brand new hand of 7, but Aaron's hand is some Pokemon and like a Choice Band?
Yeah, it's just no attachment, nothing after the Energy Law. Just had to Choice Band and pass.
And here's the Heavy Ball for the Vikavolt.
All right. So this is exactly what this deck wants to be doing. Rare Candy into Vikavolt. You see Vikavolt on your screen now. Strong Charge, accelerating 2 energy per turn. Michael's going to go ahead and put both of them on that Tapu Bulu.
And Vigavolt's such a great card, being able to not only Energy Excel your Pokemon, but Energy Excel them with 2 energy. The only drawback is you have to get a Grass and a Lightning. So later on in the game, it kind of gets a little dicey, and that's why decks like this play Energy Recycler.
Yeah, what I've found a lot with the Vikavolt deck is that it looks very good in the beginning, like the opening turns, and even into the mid game. You're like, wow, this deck is just great. How can it ever lose? And then the Vikavolt player tries to Strong Charge, and they miss or only hit 1, and then you realize, like, oh, right, there's a cost to doing this. You really have to have a lot of energy and constantly cycle it back into your deck.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this, like turn 2, Nature's Judgment, taking the knockout, but I think it's also really because Aaron's hand is not very strong. There's an Acerola and a Choice Band. He chooses just to Bloodthirsty Eyes up the Vikavolt and pass.
Yeah, just not a whole lot going on for Aaron. Unfortunately, this Vikavolt being stuck in the active is unfortunate, but besides that, Michael seems to be kind of going off here.
He actually attaches to the active. Now, granted, it does take 4 energy to attack, and you discard 3 of them when you do, so it's not the most optimal attack, but he actually just might retreat here. It'll be interesting to see what he draws off this Sycamore.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, there's the retreat.
Gonna go ahead and retreat, send up that Tapu Bulu and just take another knockout. Just keep the pressure on Aaron.
Yeah, definitely. And Aaron really needs to draw something from his deck that can help him. Sycamore and anything would be very good. But no, it looks like a puzzle of time to...
Oh, did you see how he rearranged? I didn't quite catch the cards.
Okay, no. But yeah, it was just a pass. A Guzma on the Lycanroc. And guess what? That guy's weak to grass.
Yep, and here comes, and Aaron's just gonna actually go ahead and concede 5 minutes into the round. Just a really unfortunate start there for Aaron. Just drew past multiple turns. His opponent had a very, very solid setup to start taking knockouts immediately. I think that's really smart from Aaron. He's just kind of realizing I'm maybe less than 1% to win this game. You know, I just need some things to go so right for me. And I only advance in this tournament if I win the match. So I need to be able to win the next 2 games. And starting game 2 at 42 minutes on the clock or whatever is much better than playing this out, hoping to hit that 1%er for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it was definitely a strong showing for Vikavolt, a deck that really hasn't been that popular between at least the top players. And it's 1 win away from making day 2 at the largest regionals.
Yeah, so we kind of got interrupted when we were doing this earlier because the match was starting, but I think Vikavolt it's not a horrible deck, clearly, and people play it, right?
Yeah.
You go to a League Cup, you go to your local league, whatever it is, and you'll see 1 or 2 of them. And one made top 8 at a regionals earlier this year. There have been, it's seen its fair share of success. It's just one of those decks that is always kind of on the fringe. And I think because of what we described earlier, where it can kind of be a little inconsistent, can kind of peter out in the late game, a lot of players just inherently don't trust it.
Yeah, I think out of this, all the stage 2 decks, it's probably one of the least consistent ones.
Sure,
but its upside is also very good.
Yeah, exactly. If everything runs smoothly for you the entire game, you're attaching 3 energy a turn, and you have Tapu Bulu, which has a lot of different options to it. You have a great deck if everything runs smoothly. It's just that doesn't tend to happen. But it's working out for Michael here, clearly.
All right, and Aaron's prize cards. 2 Bridget. It'll be interesting to see if he plays 3 or not.
I wouldn't expect him to, but we'll see.
Got a Super Rod in the prizes. Might mean something, but nothing really too bad for him. And we see Aaron actually Ultra Ball, get the Tapu Lele. Okay, he does play the 3rd one. Okay. Disaster averted. He can still bridge it.
Yeah, he'll be fine here. It's even just kind of better for him to have the 2 prized. Because now he doesn't need them anymore. There's no point in drawing them, as long as the 3rd isn't there.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had to discard a puzzle time, meaning later on in the game, if it goes late, he'll be down a couple resources. But turn 1 Bridget is always what you want to see.
And let's see how the rest of his hand is shaking up. Let's see if there's a little bit.
It looks great. There's a double colorless, a Sycamore, and I think a Lycanroc.
Perfect. All right. Now it's on Michael. What can he put together? Grubbin active. He has supporters. He has heavy balls. Just kind of deciding what he wants to do.
Heavy Ball has been kind of the low-key card to pop up in this metagame and really make a showing, being able to get Glycopod, Vikavolt, and all that stuff.
Metagross.
Metagross, yeah.
One of those cards that's really, really powerful if your deck is made for it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there we see the Tapu Bulu GX.
Yeah, Tapu Bulu GX hitting the bench for Michael, and I expect we're going to see a Professor Sycamore here.
This Sycamore is going to hurt, though. There's an Energy Recycler and a Rare Candy in his hand, along with Octillery.
And did he draw another Grubbin.
It's interesting to see the Mew in the deck list too, because it really gives you kind of a matchup against Buzzwole.
Yes, absolutely. No, he did not draw another Grubbin, just attaches to the Tapu Bulu and passes the turn, which means...
This could mean really bad news for Michael.
Yeah, I mean, if Aaron has a Zoroark, this Grubbin is getting knocked out, and that will leave Michael's deck kind of just not doing the thing it's supposed to do, right? We talked about how powerful it was because you have the Vikavolt.
There it is, off the Sycamore. There's a couple Zoroarks, actually, and his hand's looking pretty right now.
Yep, just 2 Zoroark. Gonna go ahead and trade off that N.
Well, these might end up being 2 very fast games.
Yeah, I mean, there's just kind of nothing going on for Michael. He's definitely not out of it, but he's going to need to hopefully set up multiple Grubbin next turn. But when this Grubbin gets knocked out, he's just so far behind, right? He has to hope to get multiple next turn, and then at best the turn after that, after Aaron has taken 2 prizes, then he'll be able to have his first Vikavolt online, and there's a knockout.
And that's always the inherent disadvantage with Stage 2 decks, is being able to get multiple basics out, because especially with Lycanroc being so popular in the format, Bloodthirsty Eyes really puts a damper in your plans.
Yeah, and so we're going to see Bridget, like we said, he just needs to commit as many Grubbin to the board as possible. So he is playing 2, so he's going to be safe from Bloodthirsty Eyes. It's still, you know, it's not great. Bloodthirsty Eyes can still take a knockout on one of the Grubbins, and then that forces Michael to have the Vikavolt next turn. So it's not a guarantee, but it's the kind of the best recovery that he can make.
All right, there we see a Horn attack from Tapu Bulu GX, 30 damage on the Zoroark. And let's see what Aaron decides to do. He does have access to the Lycanroc in his hand.
He's debating whether to play it or not before playing other cards. Typically, something you want to do is trade before you make kind of irreversible game actions. Like, trade is an amount of randomness that's drawing cards, so it can change what you want to do. So generally, it's best to trade there before you Bloodthirsty Eyes, just in case there's something you're not considering and something could change the way you want to play.
All right, and he's thinking over a decision. Does get another Zora down, though, so if he decides to, he can do the full Ritus beating from Zoroark GX. And there's a Professor Kukui. So now he's hitting that 140 mark. I don't really know if it matters.
It doesn't. I don't think it actually matters. I guess he could bring up the Lele if he has a Choice Band, but he's just going to go ahead and take the Grubbin knockout here.
And all right, thanks to that Bloodthirsty Eyes from the Lycanroc GX, he's going to retreat and bring up the fresh Zoroark to take the knockout, kind of fearing the Choice Band from the Tapu Bulu, or even just discarding the energy.
Yeah. Multiple ways to take the knockout there. Aaron just kind of playing it safe and getting rid of a DCE, which is an important resource, but just saying I'd rather make it harder for you to knock me out.
All right. Aaron is up 2 prizes. And now's the time. Michael needs to get Vikavolt out.
Yeah, he absolutely needs to hit it here. I'm hoping that this Skyla is either getting a rare candy or an Ultra Ball, whatever kind of piece he's missing from getting the Vikavolt out, because if it doesn't, that Rockruff can evolve into a Lycanroc, Bloodthirsty Eyes knock it out and kind of put Michael without anything.
Yeah, and that's what, like, your deck's really bad when you don't have a stage 2. Like, no energy acceleration, when your guy discards energy, it's kind of a nombo.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And there it is.
All right, so Vikavolt will come down, and he will be able to start charging up more than just one attacker.
I'm going to drop it.
He's going to go back in with Strong Charge.
The one thing I do like about this deck, though, it also makes good use of Tapu Lele as another attacker. Because you don't need all the lightning energy on your Tapu Bulus, so just put them on Lele.
Yeah, definitely the most efficient way to power up a Tapu Lele in the format right now.
And all right, I think we're just going to see a Nature's Judgment for 120 damage. Action is back on Aaron with a giant hand.
Yeah, so Aaron is not going to be able to take a knockout on this Tapu Bulu here. He just, or sorry, with the Zoroark at least, he cannot reach 180.
All right, third Zoroark comes down. He now has access to basically his entire deck if he draws the right cards.
Yeah, he gets to see 6 new cards a turn, and he gets to get rid of cards like an Enhanced Hammer, which doesn't do anything in this matchup.
And he did draw a second puzzle at a time, meaning he has access to anything in his discard if he chooses so. And from what I remember, there is a Lycanroc in the discard.
So Lycanroc can Bloodthirsty Eyes up any of the benched Vikavolt. Rather, he could also, if Aaron has a strong, can't quite make out all the cards in his hand, or a Choice Band, which he does, he can Dangerous Rogue GX knock out the Bulu as well to go into 2 prizes.
Oh, he just has the Rescue Stretcher.
Nice. Doesn't even need to use puzzle time.
Better save those for later. They're too important.
You can even get back the Rescue Stretcher at puzzle time.
Ooh, that's good. All right, he's thinking about it, though, but all right, there we go. Bloodthirsty Eyes bringing up the Vikavolt. He definitely wants to cut off the energy acceleration from Michael's deck. And only having the 1 Tapu Bulu charged up, it's not looking good.
And he actually gets to Claw Slash here due to the weakness.
Yeah, being able to save the GX attack for later on in the game, especially if Michael tries to get another Vikavolt set up.
Yeah, this Lycanroc is going to fall to this Tapu Bulu. It is weak to grass, of course, but that's kind of fine from Aaron's perspective. It's Michael's first 2 prizes. He still has no way to consistently attach energy. You know, he doesn't have any Vikavolt on the board, so Aaron can take a little bit of a loss here.
It'll be interesting to see how many double colorless Aaron has used, though. And if he has access to, like, maybe a special charge or something like that. And finally, Aaron gets to use one of his field blowers. He's had those stuck in his hand for a while now.
Yeah, it's also interesting because Tapu Bulu can present some problems for Zoroark in Tapu Wilderness GX. Can just heal all the damage, and like we said, Zoroark cannot knock out the Tapu Bulu in 1 hit. So it can kind of do some interesting things where I think just having a Tapu Bulu with enough energy on it does present a kind of interesting issue for Zoroark.
And Aaron does have the double colorless in hand, and I also realized he still has the Puzzle of Times in hand.
Correct.
He has anything he wants this turn. And there's the double colorless on the active Zoroark GX. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to get with these puzzle times. He's kind of eyeing playing them or not.
Yeah, I think right now he's just kind of considering what cards do I need to get rid of? You know, do I need to play any of these cards? You know, he has 3 trades available right now, so he can kind of draw any cards he wants. And you see his deck is, I think, is that 7 cards left?
Yeah.
So it's not like he is having any trouble drawing cards, but you still want to get rid of useless cards, especially when you have access to Puzzle of Time.
And there's a Zora on the bench. Might even try to go for 4 Zoroark GXs.
150.
Looks like it's going to be an attack for 150.
So the unfortunate thing, like you mentioned before, Tapu Wilderness GX does heal all damage from Tapu Bulu. So he kind of really didn't do anything last turn in the eyes of, like, the game right now. But he still was able to search through his deck, figure out what he has left, and he's able to control his draws.
Yeah, and Michael's actually done a really good job of not making himself too reliant on the Vikavolt. He has that Tapu Bulu fully built up, has a lot of damage on it, is going to get knocked out very soon, of course, but can take a knockout this turn if he wants. And then he has that other one that has 2 energy on it already. So it may actually turn out, if his draws go okay, he doesn't actually rely on the Vikavolt all that much.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's going to get healed this turn most likely.
Yeah, he did take a Guzma, so it'll...
I actually like this play a lot. Being able to take another 2 prizes, and it kind of forces play from Aaron to be a little bit more conservative. Because out of nowhere, another Guzma can take the knockout from Tapu Lele.
Yeah, really interesting here. I really thought that Aaron cutting off Michael's access to Vikavolt would stunt him a little bit more, but I think the last turn where Aaron decided to knock out the actual Vikavolt rather than the Grubbin may have been an error on his part. He may have wanted to kind of put pressure, use that GX attack on the Tapu Bulu to kind of just say, okay, I'm going to let you have this Vikavolt, but I need to deal with your actual attacker here. I see now the prize trade has swung in Michael's favor. No damage on the board, a fully built-up Bulu, 1 more, just lacking 1 energy on the bench. Let's see what Aaron can put together here.
He definitely needs to get a Field Blower to get that Choice Band off the field.
Yeah, the Choice Band will allow Nature's Judgment with the discard to 1-hit KO a Zoroark, which is not what Aaron wants to see out of his opponent.
Yeah, tournament life is on the line right now.
Yeah, whoever wins this match will be advancing to the 2nd day of play, and whoever loses will be going home.
So there we do see the Field Blower, and then an N putting Michael down to 2 cards. Basically hope, like, all right, don't draw Choice Band.
Yeah, putting Michael down to 2 cards. Aaron has his whole deck. I'm sure he could maybe even draw his entire deck if he wanted to with trades. There wasn't all that many cards in it before. So we'll see what Michael's 2 cards are here.
It's crazy how this game has swung back and forth, and Aaron kind of making a choice to go after the Vikavolt, but Michael's like, all right, I already knew you were going to do that, so I'm going to set myself up in a way that it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, he definitely, this one Tapu Bulu with its 180 hit points has been a real problem for Aaron so far.
All right, and he's debating playing the Tapu Lele.
Yeah, just kind of debating if adding the
20 damage.
The 20 damage here is more important than trading it away and drawing cards.
Energy Lotto. Or no, okay, he's just trading.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was like, oh, you shouldn't be putting those in your hand. But I see.
Drawing double Guzma. If Michael doesn't actually get the Choice Band this turn, or a way like to knock out a GX for the game, we might see like maybe a Guzma stall tactic.
Well, so Michael needs, let's see, what are his odds? Choice Band.
He has a Sycamore in hand right now.
Oh, wow. I don't know how many Choice Bands he's used. 2, it looks like? I couldn't quite tell. Here's a Sycamore. Let's see it. I think double puzzle?
And he got a Choice Band. Wow. And that is game. Michael moves on to day 2 with Vikavolt Tapu Bulu.
In dominating fashion, in fact. Wow, so game 1. Let's break this down a bit. You see Aaron clearly upset. Not exactly a great feeling to lose your winning in on camera. But game 1, the deck did exactly what it was supposed to do.